This is how I would learn web development if I have to start over. Watch closely because by following this learning path, you can also become a web developer in less than 3 months. And while the steps you take can help you land your first web developer job, all of the efforts could be wasted if you are stuck in the tutorial hell. But what exactly is the path that I would want to have followed? What do other web developers do that we often ignore while learning? In this video, I'll walk you through that exact path along with the resources, and not just that, towards the end of the video, I'll also share with you 3 major mistakes that I did that you should definitely avoid during your journey. So let's get started. I will first start learning HTML from W3 schools. I would seriously not spend a lot of time on this as my main focus is going to be just learning the basics that can easily be learned in just 2 to 3 days. And then after that, I'll move on to the next thing, that is CSS. Now, when I was learning initially, there were a lot of people who recommended me to skip CSS and directly jump onto JavaScript, React.js, Next.js and whatnot. But seriously, that led to a struggle for me because I wanted to make something but I didn't know how to represent it well. So that's why in the next step, I will start learning CSS. Now there are many CSS technologies that one can learn. Since I want to learn styling quickly and apply for jobs, I would rather go for Tailwind CSS, which is a utility-based CSS framework, which is pretty easy to implement and learn rather than vanilla CSS. For learning CSS, I had initially spent over a month, but now I would rather spend a maximum of 1 to 2 weeks on the same. So learning web development is 40% the understanding of the programming languages and 60% the implementation. And that is why building projects is really very important. And I have simplified learning Tailwind CSS for you. So you can follow my 45-minute Tailwind CSS crash course video and learn the basic concept required pretty quickly, all while building a project. Now, before proceeding to the next thing, I will also highly focus on building at least 1 to 2 projects on my own in order to check my understanding and also have some hands-on experience. And the type of project that I would build would be clones like Airbnb clone, Amazon clone, building a personal portfolio with just CSS and no functionality at all. And if you are stuck anywhere while building, you can also refer to these videos that I've made on the same topics. So in a maximum of 16 to 17 days, I'll be done with both HTML and CSS. And now is the time to learn the real hero, that is JavaScript, in order to add interactivity to our project. I was initially not clear whether to learn JavaScript framework or libraries or rather focus entirely on JavaScript. So now I will just focus on learning the basics of JavaScript required, and for that I will follow this playlist by Codevolution, which cover all the basic concepts, and this will take another 7 to 10 days to complete it. And then again build project on JavaScript side by side like this navigation bar, and some out of these 30 great projects given on javascript30.com. Now rather than digging more deep into JavaScript, I will now learn library built on top of JavaScript so that I can increase my chances of getting hired. So there are a lot of options to choose from like React, Angular, Vue, but I personally would go for React as there are more job opportunities here. React is the part where I will spend most of my time. For learning it, I will refer to this course called as Learn React, which is completely free on Scrimba. And the best part about this course is we'll also be building projects side by side. Along with React, I will continue learning JavaScript advanced concepts as well. And for learning more concepts required in React, I will follow a different approach. So now instead of following a typical approach, I will instead go for a requirement-based approach. So I will primarily focus on building a single project from scratch. For example, this online job portal, this is just an example that I've also made a video on, or I will select something that is more challenging and useful. So I will add in more functionalities and features to it as I progress, which not only is going to help me to identify what all concepts are really required when we build projects, but also help me stand out from others who will be applying for the same job as I do, as recruiters get more impressed with the projects that one have built rather than the courses that you have done. And on this, I will spend around a month. And by the end of just this, I'll be ready to apply for jobs. Now you might be wondering that I haven't laid any emphasis on learning TypeScript or Next.js, and you spotted it right. Because my main focus initially would be to learn the building blocks or the foundational things that are there. Because once we are clear with that, rest can be learned very easily. So if one knows JavaScript, learning TypeScript becomes easy, and similarly if one knows React, learning Next.js becomes really very easy and more understandable. But if I want to achieve all of this in such short duration, I would also not make these 3 major mistakes that I did initially. Number 1, not following fixed resources. I used to buy a lot of courses but to only leave them in between and jump onto a new one whenever I find any, and never looking back at the previous one I bought. Because of this, I used to waste a lot of time. So rather I would stick to my resources and then learn from them. Number 2, not building projects in public. So you might be the brilliant coder out there who knows a hell lot of programming languages and who knows the concept that even senior developers don't know. But if you are not able to present it well to your potential employers that are hidden on social media, there is no use of it. So I will now definitely share my learning with the community so that all the potential employees that are there who are searching for people like me can easily find me and give me a job. Number 3, not applying to companies. So I used to feel that I do not know enough. Who will give me a job? People know much more than me and always wait for the right time to apply for companies. But I now understand how wrong I was. So one can never know everything, and this even the recruiters understand. What they only want to see is the potential in you, whether you have the potential to build something or not. So if you are able to show that, then it is pretty good. So now I would rather apply to more and more companies with the skill set I have and acquire more skills along the way. With this approach, I will become a web developer in much less time. For me, it might take just 3 months. For you, it might take longer. But if it is taking longer for you, don't worry, as you might have a slow pace. But ultimately, it boils down to understanding the concepts well, building projects, and applying to more and more companies. If you want, I can make a separate video on becoming a full stack developer. And if you like this video and want more web development videos like this, hit the like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.